folks, and welcome to Garbage Theater. Tonight's installment, Born Into Mafia. I'm your host, Chase, with my co-hosts, Blake and John.
Insert Russian hello.
Vodka, etc.
Well, let us get shit show on road.
In Soviet Russia, road shit's on you.
God damn it, you spent the Yakov Smirnoff joke already. I had one I was saving for later. I'll do it anyway, but I'm going to do it when I want to do it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh, Lord, this fucking movie. I don't know how many podcasts we start with, oh, Lord, this fucking movie, but this fucking movie.
I got so much shit for mine last week, and this was exactly the same, but Russian version.
And about 120 minutes shorter.
Well, yeah. It was shorter, I'll give you that.
In fairness, I mean, in almost all technical aspects, this is significantly worse than China Salesman.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I was about to say, at least China Salesman looked pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least it was like, professional and stuff.
Yeah. when this makes,
I think this is the most incompetent movie we've done on the show.
This movie made the acting in Birdemic seem decent.
Yeah. So I'm about to revisit Birdemic with a new perspective.
Yeah. God damn, it was just, and there's a twist. There's a Shyamalan twist in this movie that pissed me right the fuck off. So I'll let you know when we get to it in the discussion. But
I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
Did it bother anybody else but I really don't think they filmed this in Moscow like they said they did.
You think? Maybe
something tells me that wasn't Moscow.
Yeah. When your establishing opening shot is of the exterior of an Olive Garden.
That shit is that's comedy gold.
Unashamedly.
As soon as that came up, I was like, oh, shit.
It's just
and then it said Moscow, Russia over it.
Moscow, Russia, and it's a fucking Olive Garden. Like, the logo is barely obscured by a tree.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a movie where the details mattered so little to the filmmakers. They didn't give a fuck.
Somewhere on my non-existent notes, because like I just told them before we started recording, I have no clue where I put them. But somewhere on my notes said, in Russia, we don't care about details.
This was some sort of weird Brewster's Millions scenario where they had to make a movie, and it just did not matter at all.
But was it like the reverse, where they only had like $50 and
they had no money? You have to make a movie with no money whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh, I told you guys that IMDb said that this cost $200,000.
Oh, bullshit.
How?
I think we got another fraud situation.
It must be.
No, you know what it was? It cost $200,000 to get that one shot of the Hollywood sign, because I know you have to pay to put that in a movie. Yeah. So that was it. They had to establish that they were in Hollywood, California now, so they had to shoot a picture of the Hollywood sign. $200,000.
Well, I'm sure it costs money to get all the crew and equipment and cast over to Moscow and back, too.
It's a pricey trip.
Yeah, and they had to get the licensing for the Olive Garden.
Yeah. And the car dealership, which...
Oh, yeah, and Cadillac, and Dior, and Gucci, and all the other things that I'm sure they did not sign off on being in this fucking movie. Oh, God. Okay, let's go. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get started.
Right out of the gate, the subtitles tell me to grab some popcorn and enjoy. Back off, subtitles, okay? I'm a bad movie scientist. Oh, the opening credits of this thing seem to be summing up the movie with a cheesy canvas filter over it, and it goes on for about the length of the actual movie.
Yeah.
This is where we...
I don't think I've ever seen somebody put clips from the film you're about to see behind the opening credits.
The opening credits, yeah. That's the Cliff Notes version in case you want to walk out and you get a taste of it and you're like, yeah, this ain't going to be for me.
You're like, whoa, never mind.
So we open up to the Moscow area Olive Garden. Inside, the live music is just kicking up.
Oh my god.
A couple of real bruisers walk in and they case the joint. One of them gives a nod to the other, and just so we're not left out of their pre-established understanding with one another, a convenient cartoon thought bubble pops over one's head, complete with a cartoon pop noise that doesn't totally shatter any kind of half-assed atmosphere this movie's trying to set up. It says, "Bring him in." You see, this is what China Salesman was missing. They needed a thought bubble pop up that says, "Hey, bring me a glass of piss."
I also liked how they had a reserved table for a totally empty Olive Garden.
The restaurant is empty. There's no one in there, but it sounds as if there are 500 patrons in there. There's clanging and clattering and...
Nothing says mob boss like a reserved table at the Olive Garden.
Yeah, a hand-scrawled reserved sign.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. So the singer continues to perform for this empty restaurant. A second man comes in and sits down. This is the son of the first guy who's the mob boss. His name's Alex, and the son's name is Ivan. And he is here. And he lets us know that because he says, "I am here now." So it's a little taste of what's to come with the goddamn, the dialogue in this pile of shit.
I don't think this movie was written at all.
No.
They didn't write a single line of dialogue for this thing.
Totally
There is no way.
Totally ad-lib. It was another one where they gave him the gist of what to convey in each scene.
Right.
So you can't make a... You could maybe pull off a bad horror movie or a bad action movie, but a drama? Dramas tend to be dialogue heavy.
Oh, and this is dialogue heavy, son. Let me fucking tell you.
Well, another big issue is a lot of the times the two people who are talking aren't in the same room together.
No.
Like, you can obviously tell they shot it at different points in time, and the people weren't even there together.
Yeah. Sometimes they replace an actor with a completely different person with a totally different skin tone.
Oh, God, yes.
That made me question a lot of stuff.
Okay, so the son, Ivan, has a thick Russian accent, and the father has absolutely no accent whatsoever.
Yeah.
Accents are optional in Russia.
Russian by way of Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah. So, Alex, the father, he's sending Ivan to a shrink because he thinks that he needs to focus and act like the man who's going to replace him someday. And the son refuses to go, and he gets up and leaves. The singer ends her set and goes and sits with Alex and tells him how grateful she is and how she never thought she would be singing in one of the most expensive restaurants, Olive Garden.
That's right. This ain't no Chili's, bitch.
They order some drinks, and that scene ends. Meanwhile, 9,000 something or others away, because it's all in Russian.
Right.
But
I don't know what he was thinking here.
But it's on Spindle Tree Way, that common name for a street in Russia.
Right.
Ivan sits down with the psychiatrist, and she explains that many people come to her because they have problems. They can't sleep, and they come to me because they have problems. And on the wall,
my God.
We get a shot on the wall of her mission statement, written in complete English, even though this is the heart of Moscow. But fear not, comrades, because a thought bubble pops up and it puts it all in Russian for you.
Oy.
I loved the room that this professional psychologist was supposed to have like a practice in. This is clearly like Vitaly's, the director's house.
Yeah.
There's like a Godfather poster and a training day poster. Most psychologists don't have a big like flat screen hanging on the wall.
Jesus Christ. So she says that she's been informed that he believes in God and wonders if he wants to talk about that, because that's a big no-no in Russia.
I guess.
Maybe.
I don't know. I thought they were down with GOD over there.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't know what's wrong with these people, always questioning him about God. And, I'm kind of wondering the same thing at this point. He says he just wants to run away as it cuts outside to a shot that we get to see that he drove some kind of military all-terrain vehicle here.
I forgot about that.
Is that what it was supposed to communicate? Because I was just confused.
So.
Maybe that's just a regular, everyday Russian vehicle. that's the psychiatrist vehicle. This quasi-tank in the driveway of this suburban home.
It's tough streets.
There's also random foghorn noises blasting in the background throughout this whole scene. He then proceeds to just completely rat out his father and tells the shrink that he routinely murders people.
He's telling everybody that his father's a murderer.
This dude's terrible.
Just all the time. His dad would be lucky to be rid of him.
Yeah.
Right.
He tells her that he's done with this, he's going to move to the U.S. and start a new life. Cut to the Moscow Public Library, where...
All in English.
All in English. Ivan is there with his pal Sergei, looking through travel guides to the U.S., and they're in luck because the Moscow Library is featuring a magazine on their end cap on beautiful Sedona. Definitely Russia also, here, folks.
All I could think with his friend is, Jesus Christ, dude, it's a library. Can you pipe it down? That dude was screaming in there.
Sergei tells
What? Ivan, you want to go to USA?
Yes. I wish to leave this mafia lifestyle.
Mafia, you say?
Tell me more. Speak into this flower pot I have placed conveniently next to me. So Sergei tells Ivan that they are friends forever, and we grew up together. Did that need to be said? I know when you and I regularly talk, we say, we are cousins and we grew up together in our everyday conversations to one another.
Why not? It's a nice reminder.
In case one or the other of you forgot.
Yeah, I forget sometimes.
Yeah. Ivan says that's why he has to tell him something important. Cut to Sergei. Tell me what? Ivan says he's had it with this mafia life and wants out. Sergei suggests that maybe he goes too. Maybe they can go to Florida. Just then, a National Geographic Traveler magazine screams out, USA! By use of a random-ass speech bubble coming out of a magazine.
Coming from a magazine?
Like, who decided that the bubbles were a great addition?
I don't know, but... It's like it was a practical joke by the editor.
Vitaly was the editor, too. Everything is Vitaly's fault.
I thought that maybe I had stumbled across, like, is this supposed to be like a review of the movie where they're adding funny comments into it?
Oh, or... like pop-up video on VH1?
Yeah. It reminded me of that old blind date show where they used to have the stuff pop up like that.
Oh, Christ.
But when inanimate objects start thinking stuff.
Yeah.
So Ivan suggests that they go to Hollywood because he has a friend, Jacob, that they can stay with. He's a kid that Ivan met online.
Catfish!
Cut to Ivan with his dad in the car. They're being driven around. Alex is grilling Ivan about not taking care of that business that he tasked him with. Ivan says that he can't just kill someone over $5,000 like he can. Alex says that he built up this business just for him. And Ivan says it's because of this business that my mom is died, And I don't have a mom. I just have a dad too busy killing, not hug his son or love family. This is crazy. You know I found God. I go to church every Sunday. I'm happy. Why you want me to be killing somebody? This is crazy. He's like fucking Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
And also, they were not in the same vehicle.
They were. I think they were just at different times.
Yeah.
Maybe, because whenever the dad was talking, the background was moving.
Yeah.
And whenever he was talking, it was dead stop.
It was just stop. Yeah. Oh,
amazing.
God.
But basically, like, that's the entirety of the conversation.
Yeah.
But they just keep repeating the same shit over and over again.
Yeah. Now, I'm
talking in circles.
We've never done this before, but I want to play a little audio clip of the dialogue just so the audience can get an idea of this, because they may not watch it, but they need to know the insanity of this.
Oh,
so,
fancy.
Hang on 1 second. Let me get it going. Here we go.
I don't trust him too. I don't know. He's doing some crazy stuff behind her back. I see him with different people from different groups of the town, different your competitors in this thing. I don't like him too, and I don't like what you guys do. But I'm not gonna mix in this. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. You know what to do. You know what to trust. You just don't count on me. I'm not gonna do it.
What?
That's the whole movie.
The whole movie is just this asshole rambling like that.
And other assholes rambling like that.
God.
So this is like the scene 4, right? I mean, like, we're in scene 4, and all we've established is that Ivan doesn't want to do this and wants to go to America.
Yep.
Every single scene has been him telling different people that he wants to go to America.
Mm-hmm. And that he doesn't want anything to do with the mafia. So they go back and forth for eternity about whether or not Ivan is going to kill this guy that Alex wants him to kill. Ivan thinks that if he does it, he'll be trapped in the mafia life, and he just wants a normal life, a wife, children, to drive safely, to not have anyone try to kill me.
Drive safely.
Alex informs him that he's already in. He was seemingly born into mafia.
Uh-oh.
In Soviet Russia, mafia births you. So Ivan digs his heels in, and he says that he's going to run away from Russia to L.A., and hopefully no one will know where to find me. Dumbass.
Yeah, idiot.
He gets out of the car and walks off. Alex calls his contact in America, Tom, and asks him to look over Ivan when he arrives. Cut to the Moscow Fitness Center, where Ivan walks in to find Sergei hanging from the equipment with a note around his neck that reads, "You're not going to America. This is your home."
That was the best death face I have ever seen in my life.
Oh my god, was it fun? His like big ass tongue is like hanging out of his mouth.
It's just a dude with his eyes closed and his tongue sticking out of his mouth. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, that dude's dead.
And then,
no doubt.
And then he's got a note that seems to have been written by a child attached to him.
So, did he kill himself?
Dude,
No.
I don't know.
The librarians did, because they were tired of his loud ass in the library.
And by the way, it's clear that the way that Ivan takes the noose off of Sergei, that Sergei is just standing.
Yeah. He never ever like puts his whole weight on Ivan.
Yeah. Oh god. And if you're thinking, boy, I sure could use one of those convenient thought bubbles right now, fear not, we've got you covered. No scene is too serious to not have dumbass thought balloons in it. Oh god. Okay, cut from that to a flight from Moscow to LAX, and the plane itself screams out something in Russian, Gashput or something. And it just completely broke me. The goddamn airplane just started talking. So we got.
I got a little annoyed because the shot of the plane it's like a frontier plane. This is what I mean by the details. Like, he didn't give a shit. Frontier only flies North America. Can't fly from Moscow to California on Frontier.
Oh my god.
So we cut back to the fucking Olive Garden with an even more shameless shot of it this time. Alex is again completely alone in a clanky, noisy restaurant. Dimitri, Alex's brother, comes in, and he's angry that Alex passed over him to try to set up Ivan to take over. Dimitri then says that he's come to take what's his, and pulls a gun and shoots it into Alex's chest. And the two bruisers heave themselves into motion, but it's too late. And Dimitri says that now he's in charge. And the two bodyguards are like, okay. That's how it works. If you can kill the lead mafioso, you run the mafia now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Everyone immediately falls in line. It's like vampires.
I was going to say it's Chronicle of Riddick rules.
But before we cut away from this scene, we get another shot of Alex blinking his eyes, and then it cuts away. So, did he die? Is he not dead? Is it just poor movie making? Probably all of the above. So, cut to L.A., where Jacob is talking to a friend about Ivan showing up to stay with him. The friend, I believe his name was Chris.
I never caught it.
I didn't catch it.
I think they said it once. Let's just go with Chris. He asked Jacob what his mom's going to think of all this, and Jacob says, "Oh, she's cool with it." As a racist thought balloon pops over his head and says, "Integration, brother."
Yes, what the fuck?
Jacob's black, by the way. Just gonna point that out. So they jump in the car, in Chris's car, and they head to the airport. Ivan gets off.
Chris is being like a big weird jerk about everything for no reason.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I guess he makes more sense than what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, what? You're bringing some weird Russian guy to live with you? Stop.
So Ivan gets off the plane with absolutely nothing. No carry-on, no checked bags, nothing. He's just going to be...
No neck pillow, no book, no Game Boy,
he's
no
just
fucking Sudoku.
He's just going to be a gigantic burden to Jacob for the foreseeable future.
But he also just got off a 14-hour flight with nothing.
When you say Game Boy, it actually makes sense. Like, I would have been happy if he would have showed up with a Game Boy playing Tetris.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
That's way too smart for this piece of shit.
Like, that would be pretty good.
Yeah. So Chris says, a Russian with no luggage? What are the chances of that? What?
Yeah, I was like, what, are Russians known for having luggage?
Yeah, I was thinking, did I miss the punchline to some joke that I'm not aware of? Or you know them Russians, they don't travel with luggage.
Yeah. I'm not up to snuff on Russian stereotypes. So, Ivan spots Tom, a man that looks like if he spends more than 10 seconds in the sun, he'll die.
He's the reddest man I've ever seen.
His face is super red, but his scalp is like paper white.
But there was one thing really quick right here where, like, so Ivan meets Jacob and Chris, and he's talking to them for a minute, and then he says I see someone who, and then he leaves the shot. And then there's like this insert shot of a plane taking off. It just made it look like Ivan just went back on the plane again.
Oh wait, I see someone I know in Moscow. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
So Tom tells Ivan that he's there to help him out, as a thought bubble appears over his that simply says, respect.
God.
These bubbles are gonna fucking kill me.
Tom is, I think, the worst actor in the movie, which is like saying a lot.
Yeah, you really got to be trying.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. Tom gives Ivan his car with enough money in it for any expenses that he needs. So they all get into Ivan's new ride, and they're just going to leave Chris's car at the airport lot, which is going to cost him a pretty penny.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? Just gonna leave it there.
They never go back for it. Jacob brings Ivan home to meet his mom in their minimalist apartment.
Jacob's mom is somehow younger than Jacob.
Right.
She welcomes them in and serves them tea behind an awkward picture of Jacob on the counter to let you know that she's actually his mom. She's got pictures of him up on the counter.
That's like the only detail in the entire apartment is this one framed photo of Jacob.
It should have been a picture of that Russian guy from Rogue Strike.
Oh, shit.
That would have been incredible.
So, cut to a new character.
Wait, hold on. So they get to Jacob's place. She greets everybody and then suggests they get some tea. Then they all go sit down in a room with nothing but 2 couches and a coffee table. They sit for like a beat silently, and then Jacob's mom stands up and announces that she will now be getting the tea. It was the weirdest. Oh my god.
Yeah. So we're introduced to a new character, Jake, who is one of Dimitri's contacts. He says that all he says to the phone is, "We're doing our best that we can," and then he's interrupted mid-sentence by the next scene. As we cut back to Jacob's mom, and they're discussing the differences between Russia and America, when another convenience bubble pops up saying cultural exchange.
I gotta, if we're gonna start talking about the differences, I have a communist joke if y'all want to hear it.
Go for it. Let it rip.
Okay, so what did the communists use for light before they had candles?
Hit me.
What did he use?
Electricity.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I've waited a week for that, by the way.
Wow. the Russian rim shot, everybody. So
I can quit now. I'm good.
So we cut away from Jacob's place back to Jake, still in that same conversation on the phone, telling Dimitri that he's going to handle it, and they're looking for Ivan now, and the scene keeps dissolving on itself because apparently this stuttering asshole couldn't get these 2 sentences right in one shot. Cut back to Jacob's, where...
okay, I know you're making a low-budget movie. I know it's hard to find people to be in these movies, but not one single solitary person can act.
Not one single solitary person can read.
Well, this is true.
Well, nothing was written.
It would have almost been better to do the whole thing in thought bubbles.
Yeah. At one point, the movie tries that.
Yes,
oh, yeah,
it
they come
does.
pretty rapid fire.
Yes, it does. Oh, my fucking God. And you know what? I think as a director of actors, I think Vitaly's got a lot of work to do. I mean, I think he takes like 1 take, and then he's good.
Maybe.
They're flubbing lines all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is digitally shot. It's not going to cost you anything except a few extra minutes to retake that shot.
Yeah.
Maybe he got that $200,000 just right up front, and figured the least amount of time I spend on this, the more of it I get to keep.
Yeah. So we cut back to Jacob's, where Ivan is coming very close to admitting that his father's in the mafia to all these strangers in the room. Cut back to Jake again. Apparently, Dimitri's telling him that he's going to come to America to handle it himself. Cut back to Jacob's again. I assume all of this is supposed to be character development. Ivan's talking about how he met Jacob online, and another thought bubble pops up saying the age of social media. And Jacob then psychically projects Ivan is awesome, Mom, through thought bubble to his mother.
And, you know, like, I know it's going to sound shitty unless you watch the movie, but if I have to hear about how his mom died when he was 10 years old one more fucking time.
Yeah.
Well, god damn it, we never even find out how she died.
Well, he mentions it I don't know how many times.
Details, John.
I know, but like he like blamed his dad. He blamed the mafia life for her death, but we don't know how.
Well, maybe we'll find out in Born Into Mafia 2.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. The prequel, Conceived into Mafia. So, cut back to fucking Jake again. Dimitri hangs up the phone on him. Thought bubble, I'm screwed. Back to Jacobs again. Now they're discussing speaking different languages. And the thought bubbles pop, basic language of the future. Really?
Does Ivan at one point say English is the first language in the world?
He says something along those lines. He basically says that English is the only important language, and it's going to be the one that everyone speaks. So, they move on to the discussion to Ivan's fat new car, as Chris puts it. A bubble comes over Chris's head that says, "Loads of money must be cool."
No, it sucks, Chris.
Yeah. And Ivan, again, just rambles on and on and on. This guy would be an amazing Russian assassin. All he'd have to do is strike up a conversation, and the target would bite their own tongues off and choke themselves to death with it.
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Which is how Mother died when I was 10 years old.
Thank you.
I learned to speak, and she just died in front of me.
I tried to tell her about Ninja Turtles. Then she died.
She died of disappointment in me.
So we cut to the mall where they're going to pick up some chicks, because that's what Ivan's thought bubble says. A girl walks by and Ivan goes to talk to her. Okay, so there's only music in this scene.
Correct.
The subtitles start giving out the dialogue a full 5 minutes before they are even spoken.
I had to turn them off at that point.
And the whole scene plays out through speech bubble.
Yeah.
So Jacobs is saying Ivan's getting that girl's number, and the speech bubble pops up from Ivan's... Oops, excuse me. From a speech bubble pops up from Ivan. Speech bubble pops up from Ivan saying, "Nice to meet you," and then it just goes from there. Every line of dialogue is through thought bubble, and it's because the ambient audio in the mall was so freaking loud for their shitty camera they couldn't use it.
Right. So. Now, there's something that pissed me off. Was one of her thought bubbles said something about like she was happy because it was foreign DNA.
She says fresh foreign DNA.
Yeah. Bitch is French. So what the hell are you talking about?
If it ain't French, it's foreign.
There's so many questions about what this is supposed to mean. I mean, is she already like thinking about the DNA of their potential children?
She's got the dick madness.
She's already got that dick madness.
It strikes again.
It's powerful.
And in case you didn't know, there is no cure for dick madness.
Oh my god.
And she doesn't care where he's from as long as he's foreign.
Oh my god.
Lord. So she gives him her number, and Jacob and Chris say the dialogue that the sub spelled out 5 minutes ago. And Chris says, "He's one lucky son of a gun, that's all I know." Later outside, a guy asks them for $1. Chris tells him to get a job, and the guy thought bubbles his response, "There are no fucking jobs."
Commentary.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's like, here we go. Hear about the social commentary.
Then he starts speaking Russian to Ivan, saying, "Oh, aren't you the son of the Mafia, Don?" And Ivan just kind of brushes that off, and they leave.
Why? When a dude begging for $1 on the streets of L.A. No, Ivan is the son of a Russian mob boss.
I don't know.
Why?
Does the Russian mob put out like baseball cards or something?
A bigger thing is this guy does nothing with that information. We never see this asshole again.
Or you know what it was? It was all the people in Moscow that he told he was going to America. It was like a big game of fucking telephone. Yeah. The shrink told her friends, and they told their friends, and then down the line, and then all of a sudden, boom.
This homeless guy gets it.
Everyone in LA knows.
Yeah.
So later, Ivan calls up Celine, the girl's name, seemingly from the bird aviary at the zoo. Sweet Jesus, were they heavy-handed on the ambient bird noises.
At one point, I swear they were using audio straight from Birdemic. It's like later on, but yeah, I was like, I knew immediately.
Yeah. So he sets up a date with her. 5 minutes pass by. Yes! Cut to later at Shrieking Goose Park. Where Ivan is waiting to meet up with her. There's a goose just like sitting on the camera screaming into it. It's the loudest noise in the movie. She meets up. He thanks her for going out with him after several awkward rubby hugs.
A rubby hug?
Yeah, it's one of those rugs where you just kind of barely touch and you just rub the back. You're like,
God, everything about them is so awkward all the time.
Meanwhile, cut to Chris and Jacob playing basketball amongst a swarm of bees.
Why was this buzzing sound so like prominent in the mix? I thought they were like playing with a severed head or something. Like, why would there be this like fly buzzing sound?
Right. They're bouncing around a beehive. So, and that's it. They show them playing basketball for 3 seconds with a buzzing noise, and it cuts back to Ivan and Celine. So they're hitting it off. They're in Ivan's car, and the camera snaps 180 degrees back and forth about 1,000 times during 2 lines of dialogue. She's saying how she's also starting a new life in LA. Cut to a wide shot of Malibu, and we know it's Malibu because Malibu itself screams, "Welcome to Malibu!" So as soon as you cross the county line into Malibu, a disembodied voice overcomes you and just screams, "Welcome to Malibu!" So
it's the most magical part about Malibu is the disembodied voice that welcomes you there.
It's actually the voice of Malibu the gladiator as he swings from a rope onto the hood of your car.
So they're walking around town having a fantastic date. They pass a sleeping homeless man, and he thought Bubble screams, "WTF?"
Yeah. He's like, did a bunch of foreign DNA just go past me? Jesus Christ.
Did I just see a Russian walk by with no luggage?
I don't know why that got me so good, man. Oh, man.
They drive around some more, pawing at each other's hands. They go back to Hollywood. That's the Hollywood shot that cost $200,000. They walk the star path. They back in the car. They drive to Beverly Hills. It's all California things that this asshole saw in movies, and he's just jamming them all together into some sort of California-themed super date.
Yeah.
They end up on Rodeo Drive, window shopping.
Yeah.
He picks her up in slow-mo, and a thought bubble appears that says, "She is mine."
Oh, God.
And then the scene transitions away in a weird family photo album page turn thing. Fireworks then dissolve over the scene as we follow a trail of clothes to Ivan's bed, where he's apparently sealed the deal with this prostitute they hired to be in the movie.
Yeah, the fireworks were supposed to symbolize the exchange of foreign DNA.
Yeah. So
I can't believe. Okay, this is their first date, and she cleared her whole day's schedule.
Yes.
It's not like a meeting for coffee or anything. Like a normal first date.
She's afflicted with the madness, John.
You lose all track of time when you're suffering from dick madness.
You can't fucking help it.
So
got that itch you can't scratch.
From there, we cut back to Chris and Jacob's 36-hour-long basketball game.
Yeah, fucking all-nighter.
And they're also just playing on the side of the road?
They're on like a walking trail in the middle of the woods playing basketball.
There's no court there.
Yeah.
No.
I want to know where they got the shot of Jacob actually shooting the basket.
It wasn't there.
And why they didn't just shoot the scene there.
I don't know. So Jacob's playing basketball in jeans and a long sleeve shirt. Very comfortable. Pinky the albino peels up and he's asking where Ivan's at in a rushed fashion. And this guy, he just spills the entire family business to these two kids, saying Ivan's uncle murdered his father to not take over the business, and now he's out for Ivan. He even tells him that it's all tied into the Russian mafia. So, and then I noticed, wait a second, that isn't Jacob. I know it's not Jacob, because firstly, he's a completely different skin tone, and two, they refuse to show his face. It's all shots of the back of his head.
Unreal.
Right. So Chris says that he doesn't want to get involved with all this crap. He just wants to keep playing basketball in the woods. So just then, another SUV pulls up, and some goon starts firing his pistol that sounds like a goddamn howitzer out the window. All the guns,
they also pull up in the same car that Ivan was given by Tom.
So they all get out and start firing away. All the guns in this movie shake the foundations of the earth with every shot. A random voice belonging to no one calls out, "Call the police!"
That was amazing. It was like so loud too.
So just then, the goons execute Pinky and shoot him in the head. Jacob outruns one of the goons, and as the goon bends over, breathing heavily, he thinks to himself in thought bubble, basketball training. So it's because of Jacob's basketball training that he was able to outrun the Russian hitman. Mm-hmm. So Chris hides behind a tree, but he's quickly discovered. And he gets taken away.
The tree is half as wide as his body. It's like when you're playing hide and seek with a 4-year-old.
So we cut back to the airport where the two hitmen that we just saw killing everybody are waiting to meet Dimitri. One of them's Jake. I keep forgetting his name. Dimitri arrives and he notices them because of the hand-scrawled Dimitri sign that they're holding up.
It's written like some high school kid writes like Metallica on his binder. It's all scratchy.
Complete with didn't realize how big these letters were going to be, so the last letter is kind of really skinny and kind of down a bit.
I didn't plan this out. This is the only piece of paper we have. God damn it.
And Dimitri also arrives with no luggage.
Nothing. Again, very strange for a Russian.
Exploding the stereotype about Russians.
Dimitri then thought bubbles, I wonder if I should tell him about the bird in the trunk. So, the bird is Chris. So why is he using code words in his inner monologue? No one's wiretapped his brain.
What's crazy is I didn't realize they were talking about Chris until like scenes later. So I was thinking that there was an actual bird in the trunk.
Where's the scene where he killed that bird?
So they all get in the car, and Jake takes out his gun and puts it on the center console, saying that it was digging into his ribs. He then asks for the other goon's gun. He gets that, and he gives that to Dimitri.
Yeah. No idea.
Yeah. They drive around to some crappy music, and Jake is... The thought bubbles go crazy. And Jake thinks about getting off of work, and Dimitri thinks about this town is mine. And then the other goon's thinking about, I wonder what it would take to change careers. And I'll hit the clubs tonight. Money, money, money. The family is mine. We're almost there, buddy. Girls, girls, girls. This job is shit. I'm going to college. Just rapid fire thought bubbles. What an addition to the movie. I feel so close to these characters because I have this insight to their hopes and dreams.
Yeah. all what was his name? Tony ever wanted was some girls.
Money, 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 and girls, girls, girls.
This is like this scene is like a real-time drive. It's like 10 fucking minutes of them driving and thinking.
They use the entire song.
Motherfucker thinks he's like Tarkovsky or something.
So they pull over at a Cadillac dealership, and this is where they're going to unload and interrogate Chris. Yep, they're going to bring a bound and beaten man through a car dealership into some back room to beat him and question him.
All of these like establishing shots of businesses, they keep showing.
Why would they even be at the Cadillac place? They don't own the Cadillac place?
Do they? I honestly don't know.
If they do, they're driving the shittiest Cadillac in existence.
I mean, if they're at a Cadillac dealership, the only place they could be is out back by the dumpsters. Like, the area they're at is outside.
Yeah, they're in, like, the loading dock.
Yeah.
So, they claim to have seen Ivan and Chris playing basketball together. That never happened.
Nope.
The clumsiest interrogation scene, nigh generic movie scene I've ever watched plays out. Everyone's talking over each other, missing cues, ad-libbing poorly. Dimitri finally is brought in, and he gets the info out of Chris. They shoot him dead, splattering his ketchup brains all over the Cadillac dealership walls. It's clearly ketchup, because it's orange.
So obviously ketchup.
What I thought was funny is, they're interrogating Chris, the American guy is.
Yeah.
And then Dimitri shows up and interrogates Chris in the exact same fashion.
Yep.
Yet that yielded results.
Mm-hmm.
And why did they like put all this effort into like building up Dimitri's appearance? You know what I mean? Like they're like, you don't want to fuck with this guy. He's crazy. Yeah.
He came all the way from Russia to find you.
It's like we already met Dimitri, man. We don't care.
We don't care about a lot of things at this point.
He came all the way from Russia. Not a stick of fucking luggage.
That's how crazy he is, man. He didn't even bring a toothbrush, dude.
You can't mess with that.
So they try to figure out where Jacob lives, but Dimitri is scolding his men that he shouldn't have had to come to America every time there's a little problem. And this is like the 5th time they've reiterated this conversation in this scene. Cut to Ivan in the park, and he's sitting there thinking to himself, trying to figure a way out, and he comes to the conclusion that love must be the way out. Why is he having this inner monologue discussion with himself? Nothing has happened to him yet in this movie.
Yeah, he has no idea what's going on.
When he's sitting at that bench and he says that love will help him, I was half expecting him to jump up like George and Jerry do on Seinfeld.
Yeah, run away on the dock.
Just start running on the dock and the birds start flying.
Hello! La la la.
Now that would have been a good fucking scene.
Yeah. So he meets up with Celine again and tells her that he's fallen in love with her. He then proposes to her. And she says, I don't know what to say. I've only just met you. He then responds, I'll take that as a yes.
You can't take that as a yes.
She said, oh, I can't marry you. We just met. Are you stupid? I'll take that as a yes.
No, you maniac. Oh.
Apparently there is a cure for dick madness. It's proposing to a woman.
She's immediately like, whoa.
Yeah,
Dick Magnus is gone.
So
you don't even have any luggage.
Cut to totally Jacob walking up to his door. The Tony, that is the one that lost him earlier in the woods, walks up, puts a gun to his head, and pulls the trigger, and the gun yells out, bang! And the other goon walks up, Jake walks up seconds later, questioning about how Tony handled this situation. Well, you do it, motherfucker, you're standing right there.
Yeah.
So Tony begs for him not to tell Dimitri how this played out, and says, oh, we had to kill him, he wasn't going to talk anyway, whatever. It's top-rate goonery. Then back with Celine and Ivan, she's trying to figure out how something so wonderful could happen to a mail-order bride like herself. And the dialogue in this movie is excruciating.
It's so bad.
And they keep cutting to various insects throughout this conversation, but unlike the time scarabs from Field Freak, these don't actually warp time and space to make this conversation end any faster. It seems to actually go on longer.
Yeah. This was really funny because like the scene is infinity long. It's just them being really uncomfortable around each other, telling each other how much they love each other and all this shit. And they keep cutting in these like time-lapse photography shots of clouds and water. It's like as if the editor was making a joke about how long this bullshit is going on.
Yeah, and the shot of the clouds is like a time-lapse of an entire day passing.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then Ivan says something about that having Celine is like having his mom back.
Yeah, he says how much he reminds him of his mom, and it's like being back with her.
Don't tell the girl that you proposed to on the second day that she's like having your mom back, dude. That's fucked up.
Oh no, he tops that by then going on to say that how happy he is, and he hopes they grow old together and die on the same day. And Celine responds, "Oh, I hope so too, on the same day."
This actress is terrified.
She did not sign up for this.
No, I don't think so. She's reacting in a way that's like that seems like she was just terrified of this man being incredibly crazy.
Yeah. And at the end of this, they're saying all these like intimate things to each other, how deeply in love they are, and they're getting married and all this. They barely touch each other.
She will not kiss him.
They never kiss once. And it's just them giving those awkward hugs, those awkward body spaced apart hugging where nothing below the collarbone or above the chin makes contact.
Once she got that injection of foreign DNA, the thrill was gone.
And then, oh my god, and then he goes in for a kiss, and like, she's like, nope, and he gets some nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to ad-lib a kiss from this girl that's being in your shitty movie.
Oh god, this was like really painful. Like I was getting that weird feeling you get where stuff's just super uncomfortable.
You maybe the guy who played Ivan is like the Steven Seagal of Russia, and so he had it in his contract that he's supposed to make out with some chick in the movie, and she just wasn't having it.
Yeah.
She's a fucking producer on the movie, dude.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, then she was aware of the contract and she just being a CT.
She's willing to, like, work for this movie, but not kiss this dude for any reason.
God. Well, maybe they made it so super awkward so that the person watching it like got taken out of the movie for a second, because in the middle of this scene, the subtitles flash up a sequence of numbers that I'm assuming was to awaken the Russian sleeper agents being forced to watch this movie.
Oh shit, it's a Manchurian Candidate situation.
So, I don't know. But we go from this back to Jacob's house, where Dimitri is standing over Jacob's mom's corpse, laying in the kitchen. Ivan walks in, clearly sees Jacob's mom dead on the floor, and says, "Oh, I got to go to the bathroom." Real smooth like. And then Dimitri says, "I'll get Jacob's mom to make us some tea," standing over her dead body in a pool of her own blood. Real smooth like. So, Ivan sneaks out the back door. Dimitri hears him and goes after him. Ivan just kind of like jaunts away across the yard.
Yeah, with no urgency whatsoever.
Yeah. Dimitri comes out on the balcony. He's like, "Ivan, where are you going? I just want to talk." And Ivan just kind of springs away, and then that's that.
It's like how you avoid like a guy trying to get your attention while you're jogging or whatever. You're like, I don't have any change, man. Just keep going.
So from there, Ivan goes back to Celine's to bang one out one more time. And for some reason, they decided to overlay the sound of flies buzzing over them laying in bed post-coitus.
Foreshadowing?
Dimitri then slips into the room, having found them out by sniffing out their horrid sex stench, I guess.
Smelled that trail of DNA.
He walks up, puts a gun to Celine's head, and pulls the trigger. Ivan then awakes from his dream to find Celine alive and well, and he tells her about his dream, about all his friends being killed and them getting engaged, and holy shit, a third of this movie was a fucking dream.
Wait, is that what happened?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Everything from when Dimitri lands in LA was a fucking dream.
I didn't catch that. Oh, shit. Well, that makes sense why the dude was back on the beach at the end of the fucking movie. I thought that was the twist you were talking about, that all of a sudden the fucker was back on the beach with him. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what happened?
I almost threw my goddamn laptop through the window.
I just thought that he dreamt that about the dude killing her and that was it. Oh, shit.
Yep. This movie wasted a third of its time of your life.
Dude, my mind is blown. My stomach hurts right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, what does this mean? How far back did this dream start?
How much of my life is a dream?
What the fuck?
See, I thought it started back when that one random shot of the two of them playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, is that where it started?
Nope.
Because like that would explain the shot, sort of.
This was him waking up after having banged her for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
So
at this point, the only things that have happened in this movie
is he's arrived. That's it.
He arrived and banged a chick, and those are the only actual events of the film.
Oh my god, dude! Like I seriously have this weird feeling in my stomach just because I didn't catch that. Holy shit!
Yeah. So he then gets a call from Moscow informing him that his father was killed. So that actually did happen. Then I start really tripping balls because I swear that some graphic filigree patterns start animating over the movie, and the sound starts echoing out, and a serene beach scene dissolves in. And why not at this point? We're doing speech bubbles, goddamn airplanes are talking, Russians have no luggage, fuck it. So, Dimitri then actually arrives in LA, and we're treated to a nice scene of him and Jake and some other new goon playing poker in seemingly the loading dock of the Cadillac dealership. And
now, how does it? If he's dreaming, how does he know what the loading dock looks like?
Oh, yeah. Wait a second. Wait, it's going to get even more trippy here in a second. Because while they're sitting there talking, they reveal that Tony, the other goon that killed Jacob, is a real person. He's actually one of their goons, but he's on a different assignment. He's to go and get the Cadillac repaired. So he dreamed about this guy who he never met, killing all these people, and this person's actually a real person.
Holy shit. The ramifications of this are...
Now, there's a longer thought bubble conversation that plays out, and I'm going to read it all out.
Is Ivan capable of creating life with his mind?
Dude, I am writing an angry letter to this Vito Velodici or whatever the fuck his name is.
Tony Marinara.
It's Giuseppe Spaghetti.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
So the thought bubble conversation that plays out while they're playing poker goes as follows. Dimitri, who's the new guy? Jake, tough guy my ass. The new guy, he's definitely bluffing. Jake, Legends of the Fall. Dimitri, I hope this is just an act, Brad Pitt. Just make your move. Jake, are you in love with my distraction yet? Dimitri, this is definitely weird. New guy, time to draw. Jake, the pickaxe is not a bad idea. And there's just a pickaxe in the background for some reason.
You know, what pissed me off in that whole exchange is when the new guy said he's definitely bluffing, but nobody picked up their fucking cards yet.
Oh, God. So, after the little conversation about Tony existing, they get into an argument over how many more hours they should spend playing poker instead of doing what they're there to do. Dimitri grabs his gun off the table and pulls the trigger at Jake, but it's empty. Jake laughs and like I'd give you a loaded gun. So I guess a gun is something else that Dimitri didn't bring. The goon then draws his gun and kills Dimitri with more gun shouting bangs over a black screen. So now with Dimitri dead, there's absolutely no reason for this movie to continue.
True.
Everything that could possibly give the plot momentum is gone. So we cut to Jake and Pale Tony going for a jog. Tony is apparently running things on the US side, and once Dimitri killed Alex, the American branch of the Russian mob became independent and run by Tony, and now he's going to put Jake in charge of LA.
Tom, not Tony.
Tom. Whoever.
Yeah, the red guy.
Yeah. Cut to some time later. Jacob and his new girlfriend are walking on the beach with Ivan and Celine, and they have a fucking kid. So they did get married.
Yeah,
That
sometime later.
Yeah. Way to go, director. You can't even give us a year.
It's Ivan.
Sometime.
So it's Ivan and Celine's anniversary.
Details.
And he gives her a medallion to celebrate, and the fucking credits roll. What the hell did Ivan have to do with any of this movie?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Nothing happened.
The entire second act of this movie was a fuck you.
Dude, I can't even describe how pissed
everything.
off I am now.
Everything. The call to action. Everything wasn't real.
I'm writing a letter.
Nothing about this thing that's what I'm talking about. Pure incompetence to even down to the most basic shit. Pure incompetence.
And then the credits made the designer in me weep. There's about 7 different font sizes. They're all filled with gradients and shit.
Not to mention, like, I was looking at the runtime. By the time the credits started, there was 10 minutes left.
Yeah, 10 minutes of credits, and they don't thank the Olive Garden once.
Oh, one thing I wanted to. There was a line that I wanted to bring up where Tom says to Jake, "Thank you for not betraying me." Like. Like he knew about Ivan's dream or something. He's like, "Hey man, I heard about Ivan's dream. Thanks for not betraying me like that."
Oh Christ Almighty!
Now I'm angry like you were, man. Now I'm mad at this movie now.
Okay, just when I thought for sure China Salesman has it in the bag for worst of the worst.
No, sir.
You drop this shit on me. And now I'm seriously conflicted.
I told you it was dog shit, and that I wanted revenge.
On our last episode, whenever you told us about this guy and you were telling us about the Jungle Book thing,
yeah.
Like after I watched this movie and I went back and I watched the trailer for Jungle Book again because I was still thinking I may pick it. Like just by watching a movie and having that little nugget of information that Chase said when we were watching the trailers, that maybe this kid was molested on set. I was like, that's entirely possible.
I didn't say maybe this kid was molested on set. I said this kid was definitely molested on set.
Oh my God.
So just to let everybody know, whenever it's my turn again, Jungle Book is definitely out of the run.
Well, actually, we actually miscounted. You only get one more movie this season, Blake. You and John. I'm the only one with 2 more because this is my last one of the third cycle of movie picks.
I got my last one ready to go anyway. It's fine.
Yeah, and so I guess should we get some bonus questions out of the way?
Oh sure.
See if we can get some points here.
Yeah, these might be kind of easy for you guys actually. Okay, ready?
Yep.
How long ago did Jacob say he met Ivan online? And the scene where Jake is on the phone with Dimitri. What is the name of the business that it kept establishing that he was like outside of or whatever?
Oh shit!
I know.
I want to say I paid attention to this, but I can't for the life of me remember what the fuck it was. Shit!
All right. How long ago did Jacob meet Ivan?
I said 2 months.
I said 6 months.
2 months is correct.
Son of a bitch.
And what was the business?
No fucking.
No idea. Can't even guess.
Okay. Tanya's Jewelry.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So we're tied up now. It's 2-2-2.
Yeah.
All right.
So none of this mattered at all.
None of it mattered.
We still have 4 more movies. It could shift. Oh Lord. So, without further ado, it's now time for Coming Attractions. All right, motherfuckers. It dawned on me that I get to pick the final movie of the season. So I've got one tucked away for that. So we're gonna save that one for the crescendo. But for now, we're gonna watch something that I've been wanting to watch for a while, out of sheer morbid curiosity, and haven't been able to because there hasn't been a format available that would fit into what we do. It's all subbed and not dubbed and that kind of thing. But one magically appeared, finally. So we're going to do it. So what I have for you is the unofficial, unlicensed, Taiwanese bootleg live-action adaptation of Akira Toriyama's classic tale, Dragon Ball: The Magic Begins.
What?
Holy shit.
Dragon Ball: The Magic Begins, the ultimate battle for the universe. Made in 1991 with 4.1 on IMDb and a 31% on Rotten Tomatoes. Directed by Chun Liang Chen, who directed a shitload of other crappy martial arts movies. This live-action version of the popular Japanese animated series Dragon Ball, a villainous king known as Emperor Horn has stolen the mystical power of the Dragon Pearls, legally distinct, in an attempt to possess them all and rule the world. When all but one of the pearls has been stolen, the former ragtag group of guardian heroes led by Son Goku the mysterious dragon jewels decides to band together to take some big action.
The biggest.
Led by a pig-headed wizard and a half-turtle martial arts master, the team first takes on King Horn's army in a desperate bid to stop him from gaining control of the Dragon Pearls. 86 minutes long, loosely based on the first animated Dragon Ball movie, Curse of the Blood Rubies. Now, since they could not get the rights to adapt Dragon Ball, they had to make some changes, mostly to the names of characters. So, Son Goku has become Monkey Boy. Grandpa Gohan is Sparkle. Bulma is C2. Oolong is Piggy, creative. Okay. Yamcha is Westwood.
What?
Okay.
This is the best one. Puar, Yamcha's floating, talking, shape-shifting cat friend, straight up replaced with a cockatoo. They said, yeah, we're not doing a floating, shape-shifting, talking cat. Just give him a fucking bird. Master Roshi is Turtle Man. Chi-Chi is Gen, and King Gourmeth is kind of a mix of... King Gourmeth is a character from the Dragon Ball movie, but he's also kind of based on Emperor Pilaf, and that's King Horn.
Okay.
Reviews. Leave your brain at the door. Worst...
I hated that thing anyway.
Worst dub ever. And still better than Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yes.
So
I'm excited.
I have been wanting to see this for so long because I knew it existed. I could never find it anywhere, and all the YouTube versions of it were all in either Chinese or Italian or something where you couldn't watch it. Finally, one with the English dub went up. So it's on YouTube with an English dub. There's several versions, so I'm going to point out the one that's the right one for you guys.
Okay.
But it looks fantastic.
Look, at this point, I'll take anything after the past 2 weeks. Because of what this movie is following, it'll probably be a contender for Desert Heat.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Ball.
Just by comparison,
the Dragon Ball franchise is something that's very near and dear to my heart. So even if they butcher it, at least it's got some tenuous strands connected to something I like a lot. So,
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
It could be good. It could be good times.
Could be.
Yeah.
Bad movie, good times.
That's what this show is about, after all. Because, as it was pointed out to me by a listener, even a podcast about bad movies should have standards, Blake.
No. Bullshit. This is a movie. Dude, we watch bad movies.
Oh, man. I haven't even asked how Aaron's doing. That poor bastard.
Oh, yeah. Our appointed quizmaster, who's having to watch all this shit with us and get none of the glory because he's just writing the questions for the quiz at the end. He's not very happy with Blake right now, I can tell you that much.
Well, good, because I'm not happy that we've even mentioned his name on the show.
Blake owes him $4 for Glimmer Man. 2, he got through, I think, the first third of China Salesman, got his question, and bugged out.
Yeah.
So
That's what I would have
sheet,
done.
The question on China Salesman is going to be from the first third of the movie.
Well, you want to run with the big dogs, is what you get.
Oh, Christ. So
Be mad at me all he wants. It's a damn show about bad movies. Come at me with that.
Look, as bad as Born Into Mafia was, and it's bad, I would watch it again over China Salesman.
Oh yeah.
Well, dude, like I said, what are we supposed to be picking then? If we're picking stuff we're going to like to watch, then why do the show?
This is just an interesting clash of ideologies.
No, we could watch bad. I mean, Swamp Ape was bad, but it wasn't China Salesman. And don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about, because I know you do.
Y'all had the same argument when we did Swamp Ape.
He's not wrong.
It's true. I guess we're gonna watch movies with
so you took it down a notch. That's what you learned from that.
No, I didn't. No, what I learned from that is how good did that episode do?
It's our most popular episode.
Okay, blow me. And if you want your $4 back, take me to Judge Judy, asshole, because I ain't giving it to you. Sue me.
Oh, Lord Almighty.
Come at me with this shit. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Everybody gives me crap. John's movie this week had all the same shit wrong with mine, but it's okay. The captions don't even match up. They had freaking secret Russian codes in these captions.
Like you already know the answer to this. It's because John cheats.
That John's a goddamn cheater.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. But aren't you glad we ditched the womanizer bit? There hasn't been a John's a womanizer joke since, I think, the first episode of this season.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really care for that.
I didn't care for it.
Oh, Christ. Okay, so there it is. That's Born Into Mafia. We're done. Oh, I'd like to thank everybody that's been listening. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Garbage Theater. You can follow us on Twitter at Garbage_Theater and on Instagram at Garbage_Theater. If you'd like to suggest a movie to us, reach out to us at any of those channels or garbagetheaterpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know how we're doing. If you like the changes that we've made to the show, if you don't like them, whatever. We want to hear it because we can shift this shit around however we want. Does anybody have anything meaningful to add to the end of this podcast?
Yeah,
meaningful?
those sons of bitches need to nut up.
That's it. That's what we're gonna close out on. Blake,
Yeah,
apparently.
Blake, you're the only one who didn't do a Yakov Smirnoff joke.
Yeah, but I did the freaking communist rim shot.
No, that's true. Never mind. Okay, so that's the end of Born Into Mafia. The next movie we're watching is Dragon Ball: The Magic Begins. It's on YouTube. You might have to check a few of them to find the right one, but there is one that's the full movie that is English dubbed. That's the one we're going to be watching. And we will see you next time.